The swords are out. War for the top post in Tamil Nadu gets uglier. O. Pannirselvam insists he is still the chief minister of the state. Meanwhile, Sasikala calls Pannirselvam's move theatrics, claims that she has the backing of enough MLAs to be the chief minister of Tamil Nadu. In Bengaluru, green activists and citizens are up in arms once again. The government is set to axe over 100 trees to widen Jayamahal road, where citizens are crying foul, say it's part of the stayed Steel Flyover project. Custody of the monster who is accused of the rape and murder of the 24-year-old lady physiotherapist has been extended to the 10th of February. Police say they need more time for questioning. Over 1,000 Mumbai citizens left high and dry with no water supply. They say that they will exercise their nota or none of the above option in the upcoming BMC elections. RBI has not made your home loans cheaper. However, starting the 20th of February, you will be able to withdraw up to 50,000 rupees a week from ATMs. And all limits on withdrawal will be lifted from the 13th of March. The announcements have been made as part of the credit policy announced today. Hello and welcome. You are watching The Big Story here on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. Straight to the top story, which is from Bengaluru. Civic body BBMP has touched a raw nerve as around 2 of the government versus citizens begins on the Steel Flyover. Now, activists and citizens are up in arms once again, where the civic body BBMP has given citizens 10-day ultimatum to present any objections over the chopping down of 112 trees. The government says it is planning to axe these trees for widening the Jayamahal road. But citizens and activists who are protesting once again say the government is in fact setting the stage for the controversial Steel Flyover, which, remember, was stayed by the National Green Tribunal. My colleague Srija gets us this ground report first up from Bengaluru. Take a look.
The NGT may have stayed the controversial Steel Flyover project. However, after B-Day, it is the BBMP who is now planning to fell trees, especially on this particular road, that is the Jayamahal road. I'm right now standing on Jayamahal road. In fact, as you can see behind me, these trees will become the past in the history pages of the BBMP. What we also know is that a total of 112 trees will be felled only to widen this particular road, that is Jayamahal, which connects from Cantonment railway station to the Ballari road, and from Ballari road to Makery Circle, and which then goes on to the BDA junction. Also, what we understand is that this particular project dates back to 2010, when the cabinet approved the project for the road widening purpose of the Jayamahal road. But however, it ran into legal hurdle because of the transfer of development rights. Since what we understand is that this particular land, as you can see on my left, it belonged to the Mysore Royals, and it is on this particular land the trees, 112 trees, will be felled. Now the government has already acquired this particular land, and what we understand is that when we spoke to the BBMP conservator of forest, Shanta Kumar, he told us that they have been given permission, a green signal, to go ahead and fell these particular trees. However, they have also sent out a notice to the public inviting objections from the people to whether to go with the project or not. But when we spoke to some of the green activists, they are in fact up in arms, and they're saying this is in fact the BBMP, the civic body, should come up with various alternatives and not to reduce the green cover in the city. In Bengaluru, Srija for Magic Bricks Now.
And to take the big story forward, we're now being joined by Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetti, CEO of the Namma Bengaluru Foundation, straight from Bengaluru. Mr. Pabbisetti, thank you so much, as always, for taking time out to be with us here on the big story on Magic Bricks Now. We have discussed the Steel Flyover on many occasions right here on this channel, and right now I have to start off by asking you, it's the Karnataka state government telling the citizens of Bengaluru, Swalpa adjust Madi, because it is just about 112 trees, but it is not Swalpa, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the government is completely missing the point of what we have been continually trying to tell. What the city of Bengaluru needs is a comprehensive mobility plan. Stop doing band-aid and patchwork that is very, very tinkering for a very large problem. You have a very, very large problem of congestion in the city. Stop doing quick fixes without thinking through the problem. Now, what is the details that are emerging, right? Why do you want to kill 112 trees? Yes, you want to expand the road. What alternatives have you looked at and said, okay, I can look at A, B, C options, and between these three options, this is the least environmentally destructive and this is the least cost effective, or this is the cheapest alternative solution. If at all those are presented to the citizens and said, what do you think about this, then possibly citizens could come back and kind of say, hey, you know what, this is a cost that we are willing to pay for protecting the greenery. Today you are just saying that there is only one way of looking at mobility in this place, 112 trees chopped, and then you keep getting conflicting information saying that some of them will be relocated. What is a relocation strategy? Have you put forth saying that what is the process you will follow to relocate? What is the success rate of this relocation strategy? None of this is in the public domain. It's the lazy bureaucracy that just goes ahead and puts a single one-minded thing, I don't know for whose benefit, and just says this is the only way it's going to be. You can reimagine mobility in the city of Bengaluru and hence stop doing this tinkering with patchworks, band-aids that will not solve the traffic congestion. You will only shift bottlenecks. The classic supply chain theory says that if you want to manage complex supply chains, you need to increase the throughput, not just increase the amount of capacity you have at bits and pieces and at different places. You will only make traffic congestion move from one place to the another place. Why are you doing this? Why aren't you focusing on the holistic solution, sharing the alternative plans with the citizens and say, why can't I do this? I'll give you a very simple example. There is one road that is perpendicular to the Palace Road. This road is heavily congested all the time because of haphazard parking. There are vendors sitting on the street sides, etc. Now, according to the BBMP mandate itself, they have to set up a town vending committee. They have to set up ward committees, which together will allocate places for vendors to exist in a harmonious fashion. You don't want to do that. You don't want to remove the illegal parking that's happening on these bylanes, which can actually decongest this thing. And you just have a single point formula of saying that let me cut 112 trees. Where is this going to take us?
Mr. Pabisetti, that's a million-dollar question. Where is this going to take us? Hopefully not in the direction that the government wants it to, which means that you have to fell trees. I mean, Bengaluru has a traffic problem, which means the direct correlation to that is that you clean up more trees and you have more space and you can put more cars inside it. I just want to understand this also, that we just had activists and citizens going up in arms against the government for the Steel Flyover, and eventually the National Green Tribunal order came around and that got stayed. And that entailed the chopping down of over 800 trees. And that is excluding the 100-odd trees that needs to be felled for this particular road. I want to know, just to clarify for my own, personal clarification, how are these two related? The Jayamahal road and the Steel Flyover project, is it an extension of that?
They may not be related, and we will have to get into the details. And as always, the BBMP and BDA are always hiding more details than they will reveal to you, right? So I think it's for them to come forward and say, is there any interconnection between these two, or they are completely independent? Now, having said that, let's come back to saying that, what is the number of trees that are going to be felled in case of the Steel Flyover? Recently, Azim Premji University has brought out this interesting study which said that the number of trees that could be cut in case the Steel Flyover comes could be as high as 2,224. Where is 812 trees? Where is 2,224 trees? And the question begets saying that, does BBMP even know how to count the number of trees that are going to cut? Does BDA know the number of trees that are going to be cut? Now, let them come back and say exactly here is the position of the 112 trees which we are going to cut in this place, and this is the reason that we are going to do. Right? Now, whether they are interconnected or not is a larger problem. If you look at it, if they are not interconnected, isn't there an impact of one action on the other? Shouldn't the other plan change? Who will take care of coordinating and integrating the impacts of each of these other plans, or will they continue to work in silos? In another place in the city of Bengaluru, where the down ramp has to come supposedly in the BDA steel flyover, there a foot overbridge or a skywalk is being installed as we speak. Now, who will take care of coordinating between the two B agencies, that is the BBMP and the BDA? And
Mr.
they are
Babaseti,
a counter-purpose.
I'm thinking it's the Karnataka state government who's going to be coordinating between these two agencies. Because, the lack of coordination between these two agencies was quite visible and quite harmful to the citizens of Bengaluru in the demolition drive as well, if you remember.
Yes, absolutely. So what I urge the government to do is to set its processes right. There are two processes, Krishna Kumar, that the government of Karnataka has to hasten and set up right. The first is a Metropolitan Planning Committee, which is the right coordinating agency that needs to meet and look at the cross impacts of each of these agencies and make sure that the overall development plans gives you a larger bang for the buck. The Metropolitan Planning Committee has only met twice, and that too, the second time the notice given to the Metropolitan Planning Committee members was less than 20 hours. Now, the members of the Metropolitan Planning Committee are elected urban local body members. The invited members are MLAs and MPs. And how do you expect somebody to rush into a meeting in less than 20 hours notice? Right? So they are not interested in setting a integrated coordination mechanism of the Metropolitan Planning Committee to function. Second, the ward committee, the 74th amendment has come over 20 years ago, or 25 years ago, and you still don't have the ward committees functioning in Bangalore. You have one or the other excuse of not getting the ward committees in place. If you get the ward committees function, you can also look at a lot of the town vending challenges to be solved, where vendors have rights and they have to be protected, but at the same time they can be shifted at a place where you don't create traffic congestion. Secondly, on-street parking on the city of Bengaluru is taking away over 30% of the available road capacity. Now, isn't it more smarter to take away on-street parking rather than take away trees? Now, you don't even sequence these steps and you just say, okay, cutting trees for the sake of greater mobility is my big idea. And I think somewhere, that's the reason why activists are saying that, or even normal residents of Bengaluru are saying that this is a stupid idea. Hundreds of people are writing to them.
All right. Mr. Babaseti, please hold your thoughts, because we've been wanting to hear what to say from the government's end, from the authorities' end. You asked so many questions. And in fact, we have somebody who can possibly answer those questions, Mr. Dinesh Gundurao of the Congress Party, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Gundurao, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us here at the big story of Magic Bricks. Now, we just got done with the steel flyover fracas, and now we have another 100 trees on the line to be chopped. I just want to understand what is the rationale behind something like this.
See, now, we are building a flyover in my constituency. It's called Oaklipuram Flyover, where we cut down more than 50 trees, 50, 60 trees. And there is a very important flyover which connects in the heart of Bangalore. And either we have to take a calculated call, because if you say do not cut any trees and do not build anything, then why should we build the Bangalore Metro Rail? Why should we build any flyover? And why should we even build dams? Because when we build dams, a lot of the water submerges many of the areas, and so many of the foliage gets covered up. So ultimately, it's a situation where we have to take the best possible solution forward. Now, nobody is for cutting trees. We all are worried about the environment, and there are plans, to plant more trees. There are plans to build more parks. We have actually been building also, and we've also been, afforestation work also going on. A lot of things going on, but within the city, when you have huge traffic pile-ups, ultimately it also causes more environmental damage. It causes more pollution. It causes more consumption of fuel. And these are all solutions which we have to do. So now when so many of these people are complaining about cutting trees. Now they are living in apartments and houses. Now when the apartment was it built without cutting any tree? Without cutting when a house is built, I'm sure there must have been some plantation on that empty plot. Before the plots were made, there must have been foliage in that particular area. So this is a calculated call we have to take, and we'll take the citizens' views. But today already you're seeing on the Steel Flyover road that we've proposed, traffic pileup is huge. And in the next 1 year, it's going to double or triple because Bangalore North is growing at a tremendous pace. So people are going to be stuck in those roads for 1 hour, 2 hours in the future. By next year, I'm not even saying not even in the distant future. So what is the solution that these people offer? And what is the long-term solution? Not short-term, build one small flyover to cut across one signal. You got to have long-term solutions which will last for a long time. So ultimately, it's we all have to work together. We all have to see that there is environment is protected as far as possible, and also at the same time we have to ensure that now everyone cribs about Bangalore's infrastructure. Everyone cribs about Bangalore's traffic. So how do you expect us to solve all these problems?
All right. Mr. Gundurao, we also have Mr. Sridhar Pabisetti of Namma Bengaluru Foundation with us here on the show. Mr. Pabisetti, I would like you to ask the questions that you have to the authorities. We have Mr. Dinesh Gundurao with us.
It's really nice that Mr. Dinesh Gundurao said that you have to take some calculated costs and then go ahead with projects. I would like to understand with Mr. Dinesh Gundurao telling what are the alternatives that were explored before saying that 112 trees should be sacrificed for improving mobility. What is the decongestion that you are going to achieve on this road? Second, what is delaying you from removing the on-street parking, which is taking away over 30% of the bandwidth of the roads that exist today? Why can't you double and triple the buses that exist in the city of Bengaluru? Thirdly, why can't you take away the suburban rail projects at an investment of 8,000 crores, which can give you 400 kilometers of high density transport capacity? You don't have the time for the big ideas. You don't have the diligence to work through these ideas. What do you come up with? You want to cut away trees to build a skywalk at the same place where you want to put the steel flyover. And this has happened between your BDA and BBMP, where they have acknowledged telling that there is no coordination. Why are you doing these quick fixes without coordinating between your two key agencies for the city of Bengaluru? How will you improve mobility? Tomorrow, do you want to bring down the skywalk that you are constructing today?
See, now, I think Mr. Pabisetti is very easy to sit and say, do this, do that. Because ultimately, when people are working at the administrative level and in the government level, there will be some things which are not perfectly coordinated. There may be some errors. Let's not live in a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. Otherwise, our cities and our whole country would have been so well planned. Why do we have these problems? There are issues. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that whatever government does is without any thinking. Whatever the government is proposing. Now you are talking about suburban rail. Now that rail project is being discussed.
So what do you have to hide that you have not given response to the RTI applications that we have given to the BDA last July? What do you have to hide, Mr. Dinesh Gundurao?
I didn't interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. Have some manners.
But you can't get away by saying that somebody is sitting and just passing judgment. You have manners. You have manners. You can't just say that somebody is sitting and passing judgment. We have done our studies and then that's the reason why we are asking questions.
You mean to say that Namma Metro that we're building at the cost of more than 25,000 crores is without any planning? You mean to say that there is no thought process going on there? You mean to say that, okay, suburban rail, we've committed 50% of the funds.
So what is it that you are hiding that the RTI application, what is it that you are hiding that the RTI application that was put for BDA has not been answered since last July?
I am not a representative of the BDA. Neither am I in the government. I represent the political party, Congress.
Sir, we have been on debates. We have been on debates where you know what the issue is.
Interrupting all the time. Either you listen, and I will listen to you when you speak.
All right. Yeah. I'm just going to step into this.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead. I'm waiting for answer. Go ahead. I'm waiting for answer.
I'm just saying there are no perfect solutions. And don't look at some huge solution to solve a smaller solution, and don't look at every solution to be perfect. There will always be some give and take. But the government is on Steel Flyover. We are committed to the Steel Flyover. But you people have gone to the National Green Tribunal and have stopped the thing. Let's wait what the court does. If the court permits it, we'll build it. If the court doesn't permit it, we will not build it. And on this road also, now we have called for objections. Let people come out with their suggestions. Let people come out with their reviews. And then we will take a call.
All right.
See, ultimately, it's everybody's city. It's for all of us to live in. Today, if you ask anybody from North Bangalore who uses that road, I'm telling you, in another 1 year's time, it'll be so choked up that I think Mr. Babishetty will say, I'll skip going to North Bangalore.
All right.
I'll just stick around in South Bangalore.
All right, Mr.
So
Gundurav.
that's the call we have to take.
All right, Mr. Gundurav, for the sake of a good, healthy argument, I have to intervene at this point in time, but thank you so much for taking time out to be with us over here. Mr. Babishetty, I have to, we don't have Mr. Gundurav with us anymore, but I have to ask you this, before I get to you, we also in fact caught up with Bengaluru's Mayor G. Padmavati, and she says the protests are meaningless and the trees will remain unharmed. Let's listen to what she had to say.
As far as the Jayamahal road widening ಅದು as concern ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆದೇಶ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಈಗ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ ಇರೋಂಥ ಮರ, ಸೊ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ ಇರೋಂಥ ಟ್ರೀ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೀನೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ತೆಗೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮರಗಳು ಕಟ್ಟಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯೂ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಟ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಏಜ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು, ಕೊಂಬೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ದಪ್ಪ ಕೊಂಬೆ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು, ಆ ಥರದಿಂದ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೊರತು ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಮಗೋದು I think after we'll start the work mostly as early as possible, another within a week ನಮಗೊಂದು ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ how many trees we are shifting and how many trees we are leaving. ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇದು ಅದೇ ಥರ ಬಿಡೋವಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಥದ್ದು ಫೈನಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಒಂದು ಫಿಗರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದು, ರೋಡ್ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ರೋಡ್ ವೈಡನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಡು, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಎರಡು ದೃಷ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಒಂದು ಏಜಿನ ಮರನ ತೆಗೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಇನ್ನು ಮರ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ತಿ ಇರೋ ಮರನೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಥದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಜನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್.
This is totally an unconnected thing to the Steel Flyover, madam. Steel Flyover project is being submitted, and also it is in the court. It's the pending. The court is in the Green Tribunal, and all. Some hearing is going on, and after all the taking the decision only, the tree cutting and other things will come up. So now the question is, in this what you are now we are speaking of the Jayamahal Palace widening road. No way it is no way connected to the steel bridge. This is only widening for the purpose of the public easiness.
Also, have you acquired any land for this particular project?
Yeah, madam, we have acquired the palace area only, and they have done some legal formalities and all. And it has gone to the level of the Supreme Court also, and the Supreme Court has given an interim order to go ahead with the project and take the public opinion also. And according to the court order, we are going to the public this thing.
So you have also called for objections from the public. How are you going to take it forward? Like if you're receiving a number of majority of objections, how are you planning to take it forward?
Madam, I will receive the public whatever their objections and other things. And in the meantime, the most important thing is I want to go to the field again for 1 or 2 or 3 visits, and also take some environmentalists and if possible some well-interested good NGOs, even students to the thing, and I want to explain to them how it is useful and how we can develop the greenery also. We are not only simply destroying just because for road widening, but at the same time we are making a beautiful road and also making a greenery along the side also. So more trees will be planted because of this thing.
All right, I'm going to get one last quick word in from Mr. Sridhar Papisetti. Mr. Sridhar Papisetti, you have heard both the Bengaluru Mayor and the Forest Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner of Forests for BBMP give their word. From their words, do you think that this task will be carried out diligently, keeping in mind the environment?
I'm not really reassured by any of what the BBMP Mayor or the ACF has said. The mayor and ACF are speaking in different languages. The mayor says that the tree cutting will be selective, only old trees will be cut. But here, the ACF is not putting out which trees will be spared and which trees will be cut. Why does he have to take people in 1, 2, 3 visits and show them all in the ground? Why can't he make a map and put it up in the public domain? Which is what we have been asking. Why aren't you transparent in this exercise? Which of the 112 trees will be transplanted? How will you transplant it? Where is your track record of transplanting? What method will you use?
Absolutely.
Where will you retransplant it?
That's what.
None of these details are coming forth. It
Absolutely.
is all afterthought. It's all afterthought.
Absolutely, it's an afterthought, and we are back to square one where we started this discussion, isn't it, Mr. Publicity? These questions were the first questions that you were asked when this show began, but even after hearing out everybody from the authorities, we're still stuck with the same questions. Why can't this be put up in the public domain so that the people of Bengaluru can make an informed choice, even whether they choose to raise objections or not to? Right now, the people of Bengaluru don't have enough information, but at the end of the day, here's a call, shout out to all citizens of Bengaluru to make sure that they go through as much information and, register their objections in the 10 days time that the BBMP has given. But for now, Mr. Sridhar, Publicity of the Namma Bengaluru Foundation, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the big story on Magic Bricks now. And with that, it's a wrap here on the show. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar saying good night.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.